Hi, I'm Robert Jewett.
Robert, it's great to see you here in Tunis. It was about 3.5 years ago when we met here in Tunisia, and you had just come with your family of 3 kids 3.5 years ago, not knowing you would be here 3.5 years later. Tell us quickly, your kids are how old?
Well, you're putting me on the spot here. Let's see, I'm a guy. No, it's 4, 6, and 8.
And I think this is a particularly opportune time for Americans to hear from someone like you, because you came relatively short term. Do you want to give us just a little background on how you came to Tunisia and why you're still here?
Sure. We had always said that we'd love to live in a place where there was multiple languages, and we'd love our kids to learn that. And we've been taking trips to places in the region. We've been to Egypt like 3 times. And a little restaurant in Phoenix, where when I was mentioning about how we're going to Phoenix, and the owner's Tunisian, he said, "You've got to try Tunisia. You have to do it for me. I'll So we took a trip here, and I'm a consultant, so we were between jobs. We had just sold our house, so everything was in storage, and we just kind of stayed.
Well, I think one of the things your modesty would perhaps not let people know, but I'm going to say you've really earned quite a reputation as a fashion photographer and art photographer, doing everyone from Michael Kors to Land Rover to Rolex. And to be able to do that here in Tunisia and make a name for yourself really says a lot about you. But I think for Americans, they don't know Tunisia, and there's always these misconceptions, impressions, lumping it in with Libya or Syria or other things. And you've got your kids in the local school. Tell us a little bit about what life has been like here for you, and what you think some of the big misconceptions are Americans have.
Well, I think, Americans have one stereotypical picture of what a developing country looks like. And I would say that just based on our experiences here, Tunisia really tends to defy a lot of those expectations and stereotypes. And the same thing happens the other direction. I mean, a lot of people here have only one view of the United States, and a lot of it, that is just because that's what they see on TV, or that's what we see on TV in the United States. So we didn't really know what to expect when we got here. And while we had traveled to Egypt before, Tunisia is very different. It's very laid back. And it has a lot of the French culture from the time when they were occupied here by France. So there's a lot of this European influence here that you wouldn't see, for example, like in Egypt or in other places.
And for the American or any European who wants to come to Tunisia, safety is always a big concern. And again, sometimes perhaps Tunisia's small size or its failure to have an aggressive communication strategy that helps the Westerners know about it. What's your feeling about safety here for people coming? For yourself, living here with your 3 kids and your wife?
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple different aspects of that. There's, of course, the impersonal safety challenges where you see things about terrorism and other things like that. But then there's also the personal level. Now, in developing countries, it's always a concern. And I've traveled all over the world with my work. And I'll say that here we've had much less difficulty than we've had even in the United States. I mean, we've had my wife's purse stolen or our house broken into or things like that more frequently where we lived in Arizona than we've had here. And I'll tell you just things like the concerns that people have, like as a woman, my wife has, there's a culture here where people treat women very respectfully, and you wouldn't really expect to hear that, but she just feels so much more comfortable even just walking to the store. People don't look her up and down like they do maybe perhaps in some places in the United States or even in other countries. So it's been very different than we expected. Of course, there's the ones that have been in the news, some activity that's happened here, and of course that's a concern. But it's not as common as you might think, and we certainly had problems. When there was one of the events that happened here in Sousse, the same day, members of my family were right near a mass shooting in Arizona in the same complex that had happened. So unfortunately, the realities of the times are guns and extreme attitudes are prolific throughout the world, and I think you're going to face safety challenges no matter where you travel.
But by and large, you find yourself safe, and that it would be safe for travelers, safe for just living here.
My wife says she feels more comfortable walking the street at night than she did in Phoenix, where we're from.
Now, the point you made about your wife and the respect she's given, I think many people don't know the role of women here in Tunisia, that they really play an important role, and many countries like to say our women have equal rights, but here in Tunisia it's really the case. And it's also the one country of the so-called Arab Spring countries that has developed a democracy, and certainly women have been at the forefront and remain at the forefront of that. What can you say to Americans who don't know how to distinguish between one country and another, don't read enough to make these distinctions? What advice might you have to help them have a better understanding of Tunisia?
Well, I think that you can always do your research before you come, and a lot of the stuff's available online. I think, one of the things that they've adopted in the last year or so a new constitution, and one of the things that in the coffee shops the men are very proud of is that women have a guaranteed number of places in the government, unlike ours. And they tell us that, well, we like your constitution, but ours is just more advanced because we guarantee places for women. And this is just, not what you expect to hear at a coffee shop in North Africa. And in reality, there's something that they're really thinking about. And of course, there's work that needs to be done. In certain places throughout the country, it's different than in here. But they're very conscious of it. They're talking about it. They're making progress in those areas. And it's something that I think that they're working on.
Well, Robert, I appreciate you sitting and sharing. I'll tell you one of the thrills that I have knowing you, and I have to make it clear that I do know you and we're friends, but it doesn't take away from the fact that when I'm at a grocery line here in Tunis or somewhere and I pick up a magazine because I'm attracted to this beautiful home I see on the cover, or a very exotic woman wearing fashions in front of antiquities, I open it up and it's Robert Jewett photography. So you've really come a long way making yourself known and your reputation being such here in Tunisia, and I wish you lots of continued success. And any message to Americans who might see this?
Listen, I would not hesitate to visit Tunisia if I were you. My family comes, all of my friends come, all of them go away with a very different opinion than they thought, which is a shame. I mean, I really think that we need better publicity of all the positive things that are going on here. And of course, we need this all over the world. I guess negative things sell, just like they do in the United States. But really, guys, it's a unique country. It's a special place, and we love it here. So,
well, thanks for sitting down and talking to us, and we wish you continued success.
Thanks, Jerry.